Hey guys, welcome back to Prepping in Progress. I'm Steve.
And I'm Kim, and no, we're not getting ready to have a bit of a party in here, prepper party. We're
Today we're going to be talking about the barter box. The pre-collapse barter box and the post-collapse barter box.
let's get into it.
Rock on.
Okay, guys, we have been collecting barter items for a post SHTF type situation for probably since we started prepping. I mean, we've been slowly getting a few things here and there. This wasn't all bought in a day. This
No.
is not a $20 prep in a day. But we were kind of inspired last month.
We went to the Johnson County, Arkansas prepper swap meet. And, we had stuff to trade. Unfortunately, we didn't take any because some was in the attic, some was in the basement, some was in the storage shed. And it was something I didn't want to deal with, tracking everything down. Let's be honest. So we started talking about having a barter box, and the idea kind of grew. Do you mind if I take them through a little bit of the philosophy of the current time barter box?
Sure, to say, and that's the whole point of this. This is a current time. This is a pre SHTF barter box that we're developing right now. It's going to be separate from the stuff that we were getting for post SHTF.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we've also talked about meet and greets and shaking hands and getting to know other preppers, right? A great way to do that is to have a swap meet.
Yeah.
You can take cash and exchange it now, or you can take goods. Like right now in the basement, I've got a full load-bearing vest and drop leg holsters that I'm willing to trade for a different camo pattern of the exact same thing. But load-bearing vests, you take that in and people want to trade for it right now. And it doesn't have to be old military gear that you've picked up at yard sales. It can be a first aid kit that you got for $2.50 at your local nameless big store. Yeah, machetes with fire strikers, first aid masks, CPR masks that you bought at a yard sale.
Never been open.
Well, they've been open, and I've checked the plastic.
Never been used.
Never been used. Gloves that you pick up that aren't the right size. All of these things you can put in a barter box, and I wish you could see it, but it is a huge blue tub about yay big, yay deep, or deeper.
Sorry, we just had a cat. Sorry, like photo bomb.
Bye, Harley. And be prepared to take this when you hear about a prepper get together where you can trade stuff. Even if it's not a swap meet or a prepper trading post, you can take it, have it in the back of the car. You see something, hey, I've got a couple things. Would you take a look and see if we could work out a deal? I really like your knife, or I really like your backpack. I think I've got an old Alice pack in my gear that I'm willing to trade. But that's the point of it, is to have something to trade now.
Yeah, I was going to say it's great practice too of getting to a barter system if you're wanting to have barter items for post. Not necessarily doesn't have to be collapse or anything like that, but any kind of post event, let's say. Getting practice in on how to work in a barter society.
I'm going to guarantee you that, during Hurricane Katrina, water filters were probably at a premium as trading goods. Let's just, clean socks and toilet paper were way up there. But that's the principle of the current barter box, the pre-collapse barter box, whatever you want to call it. No matter what event you're planning for, having stuff to trade now, having stuff to practice trading now, is an awesome idea that we're trying to coalesce and bring together. Now you were going to handle the after the collapse, after the problem.
We have been developing, we've got a box, so we've got most of our stuff set up here on we have been developing a post collapse box, which is going, like I said, most of our stuff was scattered around everywhere. But we wanted to make sure we kind of coalesced it into one space. That way we could just grab it and go and take it with us, or eventually place it at maybe at our bug out location, wherever we might need it at. But we've been collecting, like I said, this isn't a day, this isn't even a week of collecting. This is not even a month of collecting things. And this is not even all of it. This is just some ideas of some of the things that we are going to put in our post that I don't really feel comfortable trading at a swap meet right now, currently for, but would have no problem in the future, possibly trading it for other things. Like I said, you've got your vices. That's probably the first thing that most people think when we're talking about barter, is your tobacco. Now I'm going to try to find some different ways. I am doing research. I am trying to getting ideas. If y'all hear of anything, let me know. But I'm currently looking at a bunch of different ways to get these to store long term without having to pop them in the freezer, because that's the first one I heard. So I'm looking at possibly dry canning them, or putting them into Mylar, or just vacuum sealing. All these are different ways, and I may try all of them and see how it works. But we got the big one here that we're going to be, like I said, transferring out of this bag into something else. But we also got these smaller bags that weren't very expensive. And these, like I said, tobacco, we got a bunch of different kinds. Little small bags. What did we say we paid for these? They were only like $2, right? They weren't very much at all. For little small bags of tobacco products that we're going to be putting into our barter box. Sorry, there's a dog barking.
I think the kids are about to come home.
Probably. Our kids are about to probably walk in, so we'll tell them to shush. Or drag them over here. I'll probably barter them off next. And so,
we have a boy. You need hard work. We need food. We have a boy.
But we also went to the liquor store, and I had been buying these very large bottles, and I don't mean to advertise. I don't drink this. I drink better stuff than this. But
a principle of any economic society is buy low, sell high.
Yeah.
You get rid of what you don't want, get what you want.
Yeah. But we were buying these very large bottles, and they were kind of cutting into the budget quite a bit, and we were not being able to get very many of them. Even a bottle of wine, we picked this one up for like $9, which I actually really like this wine, so I may not get rid of it. But
that's a barter item.
I know, but I really like this wine.
Put it in the box.
But instead, we
decided
to go and look at the liquor store and find these very little smaller bottles. I mean, some of them are just tiny. Small, and these were only like 3, 2. These were only $1. These are very cheap vodka, very cheap vodka, and so, but for $1, it's a pretty good sized little jar of vodka for $1. So I'm like, hey, that'd be excellent barter items just to put into the box. And like I said, vices are probably what people think of most, especially if you're not into any of these vices. They're not what you really go for, but they do have value, and people will trade goods for them. And so if somebody says they've got some tomatoes, and they're just tomato plants, it's going crazy, and all your tomatoes just completely just something got a hold of your tomato plants, and you have no tomatoes, but the guy really likes his vodka. He's like, well, I've got some vodka here. You want to trade me for some tomatoes? So that's a principle of barter. Now, I know a lot of people in their post-collapse barter boxes put some things that I'm not sold on, no pun intended, for barter. And one of those things that I read in literature, and I read in books that we overall really like, but this bottle is like shaking, that I don't necessarily agree with. And one of those is ammunition, and selling and trading bullets. And I can understand why some people do that. I understand why, because there is intrinsic value in ammunition, and so there is that value. But like I said, a barter item is something that I don't necessarily, or I want less than what you have. there is never going to be a time that I want less ammo. There is never going to be a time that I want less ammo. And so no matter what, if he has everything here on the table, I'm never going to want my ammo less than what he has. Because an ammo, to me, getting rid of my ammo, trading my ammo is like trading my guns. Because my guns are just paperweights without my ammo. And so that I don't personally agree with setting ammunition aside. Now, if you find ammunition that doesn't necessarily, you don't have any guns to go with, but you find them on sale or at a yard sale or something like that, where you can pick them up very cheap, but you don't have that particular gun, I can kind of understand that. But that also goes to another principle that you have. What about trading ammunition? And that is,
never trade something that can be thrown back at you at a higher velocity.
Yeah, and so I'm not sold on the idea of trading something that can be used against me.
And to be fair, I read some very good arguments for it. I have read James Wesley Rawls in, I believe, How to Survive the End of the World as We Know It.
Yeah.
I think he's the one that mentioned a 22 being a quarter.
Yeah.
A 38 or a 380 being a 50-cent piece, $1, up
And
to
using it as a new,
up to 223 and 308 being $5 and $10 values, and trade them across for goods. I kind of have to agree with Kim, because I'm not going to trade that. The only thing that could make me willing to trade some of my ammo is a full reloading press and kit with gunpowder, so that I don't have to do that again.
Yeah. But even then,
I'm sorry, guys. I've got a real
and I'd love to see the debates
issue about that.
Civil debates in the comments section about what y'all think about. And that'd be maybe the question of the day. Do you think? And that's because it is a big thing in the prepper community about a barter system using ammunition. I've seen it in a lot of different places, but I completely disagree. But I would love to hear the discussion in the comments, civilly in the comments section below.
Another book series that talks about is the 299 Days series out of Washington State. There are multiple books and whatnot that have this principle.
Yeah, it's a common principle. Yeah.
So let's talk. Let's do this in the comments.
Like I said, but it just kind of, I don't feel comfortable. I mean, I'm stockpiling. Don't tell me how much ammo I have. But I have ammo, but
you don't have enough.
I never have enough. And that's why I don't feel like I could barter it away.
Yeah.
Because once ammo's gone,
unless you're reloading, it's gone.
It's gone. What is
and where's your source of gunpowder after it's gone?
And you can make it, and I get that, but it's kind of one of those things. There is no resupply.
Yeah.
There is no resupply, so it is a finite resource that I'm just not willing to barter off. There's very few things that would make me that I can't even think of. I don't want to say never, because somebody may prove me wrong in the comment sections.
Never say never, but
if my kid is dying, and there's a doctor, but he's only willing to trade ammunition for his services, that may be one incident that I know.
No. Trade the child. It's an intrinsic investment on his part to keep the child alive, and then we get the child back
with the bullets.
But
I'm just saying there may be situations that I would trade, but I would not put them in what I call our barter box, and that is stuff's just set away for barter. It's not part of your short-term, long-term preps or anything. Well, technically it's part of your preps, but it's not going to be something that you're going to be cycling through. It's not something you're going to be using. So make sure it's stuff that can last, and you can set it and forget it type thing.
Yeah.
But add to it. Like I said, these little things, we're probably going to go back and pick up a good $5 worth of $1 of vodkas, because it's a lot easier to store this than trying to find a place for this.
All that, and when you're trading,
this is a lot easier to trade.
You can trade this one off, maybe two of these, without letting them have the big bottle that's worth,
Yeah.
3 times what they're offering you.
Like I said, this one's going to be that's a big trade, because that's going to take a lot for me to get rid of something like this.
You better have a Shetland pony.
Yeah, a horse or something like that for something big like that.
Or your ammo.
Or your ammo. I'll take your ammo all day long. But getting together a barter box, I think, is something that would help a lot of preppers. Like I said, a current one and a post one. And I keep them separately for that purpose of, we can grab that, don't have to worry about taking anything out. Grab that one, take it to a swap meet, and practice bartering with other people, learning how to trade and make negotiations happen. And hopefully get some really cool stuff. You know, getting rid of the stuff that you're not going to use, getting it out, and swapping it out with stuff that is going to be beneficial to your preps.
You know, something that we were talking about earlier, I want to throw out before we wrap this up. Shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Throwing in different sizes of shoes, especially for your young children. They grow up so fast and run through shoes so quickly that you can trade a pair of girls and a pair of boys' shoes off quite quickly, and 3 to 5 weeks later they'll be back to see if you have the next size up. So just something to consider for your post barter box.
Yeah, I don't want to encourage anybody to hoard every single thing, but I would keep a few different items that you think are in really good condition that you don't necessarily need, but you think in a post situation somebody might trade something valuable to you, something that's vital to you. Maybe it's food. Somebody's got plenty of food, but they're needing a pair of shoes. That's a good barter item.
If you have 300 lamp wicks, you might trade 50.
Or 2. Finite resources. Be careful with the finite resources. But definitely being able to practice with the current one and start stockpiling and building for your post barter box.
There you go.
And that's this week's talk, and I hope y'all really enjoyed it, and really, really hope that you'll like, share, subscribe,
and debate civilly
in the comments.
Or discuss.
Yeah, I don't even mind debate. I don't mind debate as long as things are nice and civil, and I don't mind passion. Just no name calling.
Yeah.
But definitely tell us in the comment section below, what are you keeping in your barter box, current or post? Give us some ideas. We're always looking for new things to add to it. Maybe there's more than just alcohol, tobacco, and no firearms. I'm not getting rid of those. All right, guys. Thank y'all so much for joining.